We're Roger and Michelle. Romy. We began a great loop adventure in an aluminum trawler. But after those luminescent Bahamas waters, we didn't want to go back north. Now, we're dreaming of a bigger loop. So come aboard, join us as we take on the Mediterranean. Shipwrecked? No, but this is the end of our Bahamas trip and Great Loop adventure and the beginning of a new season of adventuring. In this episode, we catch you up on where we went, what we've been up to and why, but not before spending one last night at the iconic Peace and Plenty Hotel.
Babe, I'm not happy
Why is that?
because I'm on land. We have been getting ready to go overseas. That's clue one as to where we're headed. We are going overseas, and to narrow it down a little bit, we're going to Europe, and we're going to buy a boat.
Yes.
And we are going to, clue two, sail the Mediterranean. We are how excited about this?
Very excited.
Very excited. We quit the loop.
And we're happy about it.
Yay! So if you've been following us, you know that Exumas was the dream, and it was dream-worthy. Just watch the last 4 episodes. But what about the loop?
What about the loop?
Well, what about the loop? Well, if you know us, also, if you've been following us, we're water babies. Okay, we started the loop in the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part of the whole Great Loop. Yeah, Canada. The Canadian portion is the most beautiful part of the Great Loop. Everybody says it.
And we confirm it.
Yeah.
We confirm it.
We agree.
We always wanted to go to the Bahamas, and that's exactly what we did. Our next goal is to go to the Mediterranean.
Yay! So what we needed to do was sell Romy, and
we did. We did. We found a buyer for her, someone who's very pleased that they got her, and we're very pleased that he got the boat. So yeah, that deal is now done. We're back in Canada.
so here we are home in Ottawa with just enough time to take care of some administrative details, and there are some administrative details to take care of.
So many.
Let's start with the ICC, the International Certificate of Competence.
Which is needed to drive a boat in the Mediterranean in Europe.
What do you mean? You can't just go to the Med, buy a boat, and drive it?
Well, you can, but that'd be like grabbing a car and driving without a driver's license. Not a legal thing to do. So it's not a big process, but it's a lengthy process, and it's very involved, actually.
2 parts.
Yep.
2 parts, a theory part and a practical part.
Theory part, bank on 40 to 50 hours of homework to do before you write the online test.
Ardent training was a godsend. Ardent training.
They administered the online portion of the course, and they are fantastic. I had to reach out a few times. They advertise that their instructors are available anytime, and I tested that theory because I needed some help. And
You needed help?
I needed help. I need a lot of help, but I needed some help. So they were there. I have to do a shout out to Ed, Charlie, and Michelle. They responded to my queries within 10 minutes and gave me a good direction to go so I could complete the course. It was fantastic. That organization, second to none.
So specifically, the course you took was the RYA, the Royal Yachting Association, Day Skipper Training, Day Skipper Theory.
Day skipper training, because the second part of the training, there's a theory part of it, but the second part is on a boat that we're going to do in the Med.
Yeah.
So that's a week long of an instructor, a captain, watching me drive the boat, sail the boat, anchor the boat, moor the boat. So every skill that is needed to drive a boat safely in the Med, the instructor is there to test me on it. And that's what's going to happen at some point when we get there. And we go for a week on a boat.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want a boat in the Med, think about your ICC because you're going to need it. The second thing we had to think about was the time limits for staying in the what's called the Schengen zone.
The Schengen zone limits your ability to stay in the zone for up to 90 days unless you're an EU citizen. That's a bit of a problem for me because I'm not an EU citizen.
But I am. So for me, the 90-day rule does not apply. And for Roger, it also does not apply because he is my husband. So, but there are some things we needed to do to get that paperwork in order. One of the things we needed to do is register our marriage with my EU home country. So that is done, and that is done through your EU home country's embassy or consulate. The second thing we needed to do was get an official copy of our marriage certificate and get that apostilled. And that is done, getting the copy of your marriage certificate and the apostille, that has to be done where you were married, in the country where you were married. And that apostilled marriage certificate is going to serve as proof that we are married, and that will be carried with us.
Yeah, so when we go through immigration, if we're past our 90 days, which we will be, the immigration officer is going to say, okay, Michelle, EU citizen, no problem. Hey, what about you? And I'll just whip out my passport and the apostilled marriage certificate, and that should suffice. It's amazing how much is involved to actually set off for a longer term trip overseas. You have to consider things like banking.
Yeah, how do you get your money?
How do you get your money? There are very strict limits on the bank, and I believe we did that on purpose. So if we lose our cards, they're not getting a whole lot of money from us. But it's a little inconvenient when we're the ones needing the money. Another thing you need to consider is how you're going to get the money over to Europe to buy that boat. Wire transfer, that seems like the obvious choice. However, for our bank, they require us to be in branch to do the wire transfer.
Yeah,
We're going to be in
call
Europe.
out the bank. I don't know if it's just our bank or all banks, but that personally I found extremely frustrating in today's day and age.
Yes.
That I would be expected to go into a branch. But that is just something, if you want to head over to Europe and boat in the Med, you're going to want to think about how to make those arrangements so that you can have access to your money without having to come into a branch.
Because that's impossible when we're in Europe. So that's very bank specific, and your own case will change. But for us, we found that a frustrating moment, but we took care of it.
So one of the things we're going to need money for is to purchase our boat.
Yes, and that's going to be a little difficult because we don't have transportation. The trains and the public transportation in Europe is second to none, really. Not too many of them go out to the marina, and that's where the boats are. So we're going to have to rent a car or a scooter or something like that. And you just can't show up and do that. You need an international driver's license.
If you want to get your international driver's permit, that's what it's called. In Canada, you can do it through CAA. And in the States, you can get that through AAA.
Yeah, easy to do. You pay a fee and they stamp your picture and away you go.
All non-EU citizens need an international driver's permit in order to drive a vehicle in the EU. We're flying Air Canada, and because it is such a long trip, like I'm talking
10-hour flight.
a 10-hour flight, this is the first time that we are splurging and we are flying a step up from the cramped economy because, you know, we're not little people. So we are flying premium economy, and we'll see how that goes. And we begin our search.
Yes. We're buying something like that, I think.
A premium economy Air Canada
Yeah.
flight. What do you think, hon? Was it worth it?
Well, it's not worth it if you're just looking at the amenities, the food, the little warm towel, the slightly bigger screen, not worth it. What's really worth it are the size of the seats, priority check-in, priority luggage. What'd you think about the luggage?
I honestly, I wasn't confident that it was going to be offloaded first, but it was, with its bright orange priority sticker on it.
Yeah, it was great. So we had no waits anywhere. We got right on the plane. We're almost first. Business class goes first, but we're right behind them. And there were no lineups at the luggage carousel because we've got our bags right away. And that means customs. There was no lineup as well. I think we were the first ones.
Yeah, we were the very first ones. I guess the only ones with an EU passport.
Yeah, which is
It's
handy.
kind of nice being first in line. But I would that extra leg room in particular,
Yes.
and the extra recline. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to really make a difference. And I would pay for it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I think a 4-hour flight, forget about it, not worth it. But anything over 4 hours, I'd be spending the money.
We chose Preveza because there are insane ruins very close by, lots to explore.
And a lot of boats that have not been in charter. There's several marinas and thousands of boats.
Yes, yes. We've seen 3 so far, and we put an offer in on 1. So
Well,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we find out in a day or two whether our offer was accepted, and then the process begins. We're so close to buying a boat. You know, I wonder, do we see the light at the end of the tunnel? Hello, can you hear me now? Hello. Jackass.
Here's lunch, a simple Greek salad with a cucumber sliced up, a tomato diced up, a quarter red onion sliced up, some feta crumpled on top, drizzled with extra virgin olive oil, the juice of half a lemon, salt and pepper, and what really makes it a Greek salad is the oregano, served with a side of some grapes.
Perfect. Part of the challenges of buying a boat in the Med is to get the brokers to give you a call so you can set up some viewings before you actually get here.
Wasn't that a surprise?
It was very much. We sent emails saying we are arriving May 8th, would like to, on a Wednesday. Let's book something for Thursday, and here are the boats that I want to see. But absolutely zero contact. I don't get it.
Except for Williams and Smithell.
Yes.
They have been phenomenal.
They have been. Stephen contacted us, set up the appointments for the dates I requested. He's been fantastic.
Our offer, with some negotiation, has been accepted. So we will be moving on with the next steps of buying our boat.
If you do get a hold of a broker with an interested boat, you have to watch the fine print in that the boat may not be available now. It may be only available in the fall. So in my mind, the boat's not for sale.
Yeah, apparently it's quite common in these parts that sellers will list their boat, but they would like to enjoy a summer season on the Mediterranean. I mean, who can blame them? But yeah, you won't actually be able to pick up your boat until that summer season is over.
One way to maybe get those brokers to reply to you is to say, I'm willing to do an offer before I even see it. A lot of people do that because boats are being sold fairly quickly here. So if you see a boat you like and you really like it, send an email saying, I would like to do an offer on this boat. I really hope the broker would contact you at that point.
That wasn't for us. We know people that have done that, and it worked out famously for them. We also know other people. We've seen YouTube videos of people who see one thing in pictures in the sales ad, and the actual boat doesn't quite look like that. Who's your new friend?
I don't know. He likes Crocs, so.
Oh.
There are 2 marinas right behind me, across the way, and our boat is somewhere in there. It's close enough that I'd probably be able to swim it, but you know, it's in the shipping channel, so maybe I won't. You would think it would be easy to get there, but it's not. We needed to rent a car. So first thing they asked for was my international driver's permit. Thankfully, I got it. The other thing is we could take a taxi, but that's 25 euros each way. So 30 euros for a car rental seems like a better deal. And one final thing, on Google Maps, it showed the highway going across there, and I just assumed it was a bridge, but it's actually a tunnel, and you're not allowed walking it, and you're not allowed driving your bicycle. So the only way is taxi or rent a car.
In the next episode, we share the costs involved and findings of the survey and water test of our hopefully new to us med boat. Will she pass? Are we one step closer to living our dream of sailing the Mediterranean?